How to feel better now. I'm going to cover at least five ways that you can feel better right now using just your own body. Let's get started. The first way is to bring your attention to your breath and slow it down and deepen it. A lot of times, usually when someone says take a deep breath, we start with an inhale, and that's fine. But I recommend, if you can, focus on the exhale. After you do that, inhale. See if you can really extend the exhale. Squeeze the air out. Push the air out with your diaphragm. Pull your belly in. Pull up the diaphragm and squeeze all the air out of your lungs on that first breath. And that's going to give you more capacity to then slow down and deepen your next breath. And I like to count and try to start to even it out if I'm really upset, especially, or even if I'm just not feeling all that good, and sort of like counting sheep when you're trying to sleep. You can just count your breath and slow it down and deepen it, and it will physically help you feel better. It's been shown to do that. Now, number 2 way that you can feel better right now is related to that, and it's called the physiological sigh. I learned about it from Huberman Lab, Dr. Huberman's podcast you may be familiar with. I highly recommend. But he learned about it from someone else, I forget who, and in any case, it is something you're probably familiar with if you've ever been around a child who's been crying for a long time, and then they do that that kind of double breath in when they're calming back down. Well, that's called the physiological sigh, and you can mimic that by taking a deep breath in and then a little more breath in and then exhaling. And that has been shown to reset the nervous system. Usually it takes me about 2, 3, maybe 5 of those physiological sighs, deep breaths, to really feel like I have successfully shifted, altered my state, and started to feel better. Now, I'll pinky finger asterisk add that these particular methods are what I call red light methods in my book, The Shift, which is to say that they are methods that you would use in an acute, or I was using air quotes there, like an emergency situation, or even if it's not an emergency, but it feels like an emergency to your nervous system, and you need to feel better right now because you're feeling dysregulated. So these are tools that you can use to get yourself back into a more regulated state in an acute situation. And then there are other tools that you might like to use for more chronic regulation or to build more emotional fitness. All of those I have put into my upcoming book, which I'm very excited will be out in May. And it's called The Shift. Own Your Emotions, Own Your Life. Check it out. Anyhow, back to the list. Related to that physiological sigh, number 3 is to sound funny. So I've put these in order where they kind of naturally fall into a sequence. And with that physiological sigh, you could add a exhale with like an exaggerated sound or a funny sound, like or any number of things, really. Just making a funny sound. It could even be something more like boop, 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 or boop. Try it out. Make up any funny sound, I dare you, and see if you can still feel bad while you're making that sound. You might you might, if you're really determined to feel bad no matter what. But I find making a funny sound, if I can remember to, is often a great way to snap myself out of feeling bad and shift myself back toward a better mood. And along that same lines, well, before I move on, actually, I will say I have a funny song that I sing sometimes that is like a extra exaggerated form of a funny sound where I burst into an exaggerated song, which I'm not going to sing you right now because someone's sleeping on the other side of the house, and I like to sing it very loudly and very exaggeratedly. The point is, well, I will tell you the words to it are, poor me, nobody loves me, might as well go eat some worms, ain't got no worms, oh well, something like that. And in singing that very loudly and sillily, it generally snaps me out of my, self-pity loop if I've caught myself in one. And I guess that would be the bonus way to get yourself to feel better now, is to check with your internal dialogue and make sure that you're being kind to yourself. And if you're not, and you're stuck on a really unkind train of thought, you might try exaggerating it and seeing if you can make it silly and snap yourself back into a better mood. That works for me sometimes. Number 4 on my list, that was a bonus, like I said. Number 4 is humming. And sometimes I do buzzing or singing. These are all ways to actually stimulate your vagus nerve, which runs from your brain stem all the way through your body and connects to all your organs and down, runs along the core, through the center of your body and branches out in various ways. And it runs by the vocal cord right here. You can put your hands on your neck and feel as you're talking, or as you try humming, you'll feel that vibration there, and that can help tonify the vagus nerve, it's been shown. And plus, if you hum something that's fun or lighthearted, or again, even if it's dark and exaggerated, sometimes that can be helpful as well. You can add words if that works for you, and sing. You can try buzzing like a bee. I do a sound healing technique called buzzing technique, where you cover your eyes, not over your glasses, but you put your fingers in your ears, cover your eyes, and then do a buzzing or humming, and it gets a lot louder with your fingers in your ears. That's maybe seems like an extreme version, but I guarantee it'll make you feel better with just a few minutes of that. And you might be surprised if you haven't tried it before. Sound healing and stimulating the vagus nerve. I tap here because that's a place where it's close by where you can hear that humming. But as I mentioned, it actually attaches to your digestive organs, your heart. It helps regulate your nervous system. So it's helping to stimulate the vagus nerve has been shown to be a great way to reset your nervous system and help bring you back into a more regulated state and help you feel better right now, which is the whole point of this list. How can you feel better right now? Number 5, how you feel better right now is to move. It's so simple. Oh, and we all know it. If you can avoid moving and knocking things over, like I just did. But that's what happens when you keep a messy office like I do. What I am going to say, is if you've been sitting down a long while, then stand up. If you've been standing up a long while, then sit down. Extra bonus points if you can get all the way onto the ground. Maybe do a little squat. I won't demonstrate laying down on the ground right now because that will put me out of camera, but that is a wonderful way to literally change your altitude and change your attitude and help you feel better right now. So, of course, there's the more rigorous doing some exercise, and you might be amazed to find that just 2 minutes of movement, and actually even less than that, like even 10 seconds of movement sometimes can put you on the way. But give yourself 2 minutes because you're worth it. And then maybe even give yourself 20 minutes, a nice walk outside. You probably may have heard the expression, but it's worth repeating that one ought to meditate 20 minutes a day unless they don't have time. And if you don't have time to meditate 20 minutes a day, then you ought to meditate an hour a day, is what the saying, how the saying goes. And I would say that that's true of meditation, and it's also true of exercise, and taking a walk outside can be a wonderful way to get both some fresh air and some sunshine and some outdoor time and some gentle exercise, all of which have been shown to help you feel better. 20 minutes of exercise, in fact, has been shown to be on par with antidepressant medications in some studies. So it's, not to be taken lightly that you have the power to help yourself feel better. And if you help yourself feel better right now, then over time you can help yourself feel better more and more often, and hopefully feel bad less and less of the time. If you're struggling with feeling bad, I want to say I've been there. I know how hard it is to pull yourself out of that pit of despair. That's why I'm here making these videos, partly because it helps me keep myself out of the pit of despair, to know that perhaps I'm helping someone, and to demonstrate some breathing, some humming, some moving the body around, and some trying to be helpful, which I won't get into as another bonus tip how to feel better, but is indeed a way that we can feel better. So I hope that's helpful to you. I would love it if you let me know if it has been. And my camera batteries let me know that it is going to die, so I will sign off with a quick recap after asking you to check out my book, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, let me know if anything resonated with you, or if you have an additional tip that works for you that you would like to share. I think we're all struggling to feel good a lot of the time. Don't forget to breathe. Start with an exhale. Remember that physiological sigh. Give yourself a reset. Try sounding funny, exaggerating, humming, buzzing, singing, and moving, changing your position. There you have it. Some easy, accessible ways that you can feel better now. Till next time, ciao.